up for debate. Donald Trump must be removed from office now, today, now. You see how decisively Twitter, Facebook, and the other social media reacted to this. That was an incitement to violence. There's no other way around it. Whether intentionally or unintentionally, it was an incitement to violence. The president must be removed. All people involved in this issue must be they must be immediately arrested. That's no if, buts, or maybe. Rudy Giuliani must be arrested, and anyone else who spoke violent words or incitement to violence must be arrested. That's just the way how that goes. Freedom of speech goes as far as where that freedom of speech does not infringe on the rights of other citizens. This is a close and shut case. This is not a case that is up for debate by anyone. And anyone trying to make this into a debate needs to leave the United States of America immediately. As I said before, this is an attack on democracy. And this is not something that is trivial. And the intentions were exactly that. They were intentions of totalitarianism. And I am not trumping up anything. This is for real. These people, Donald Trump, must be removed from office, and then he must be immediately tried in a court of law. That's how serious it is. Rudy Giuliani, for inciting violence, must be tried in the court of law. I am not joking. This is one of the instances where this is as real as it gets. I am not joking when I say this. And for all the people who participated in the terrorist act of attacking the Capitol of the United States of America, they all must be arrested immediately. Immediately. Now, I know the FBI and CIA are monitoring everything, and they're looking at cell-like behavior, and they're trying to find more people that are associated with them. I can understand the reason why they're taking their time. But nonetheless, every last one of them, access to intel, access to information from Congress and the Senate, that has been breached. That is a national security risk. That is a national security breach. We do not know who was inside of that building. We do not know who. The fact that the right-wing, I'm going to call them out, the right-wing media, Fox, has even said that Antifa could have been down there. It is very possible that Antifa could have been down there. Antifa, everybody could have been down there because a security breach happened at the Capitol. We do not know if our enemies from other countries were in that Capitol building because we know now for days this had been planned. This was something that was planned to breach the Capitol building. Donald Trump knew about it, and the people involved knew about it. The people that came down there to intimidate Vice President Mike Pence into stopping the certification of the voting for Joe Biden. In short, what I am saying is they were willing to subvert the democracy itself. They were not willing to have debate on it or anything like that. And they came armed with materials to hold hostage the Senate, including, and I'm talking about terrorist acts, they had bombs, homemade bombs, ready and available to do so. They also had a noose outside. And from what we are learning, this is unverified, it was to put Mike Pence on that noose and hang him up if he did not conform to their intimidatory tactics. Were it not for the quick action of the Secret Service, these people, we would have a totally different outcome. Donald Trump, and I am speaking to both conservative and Democrats, must be removed from office immediately. You need to terminate his office for the actions of sedition and treason against the United States of America. He must be tried in a court of law, must be found guilty, and he must be put in federal prison for the rest of his life. That is the only verdict I have, and I am not changing my mind on it. No one will change my mind. I do not care what Joe Biden says. I do not care what Kamala Harris says. That is the only consequence. The only consequence here. And I am not somebody, I'm an open-minded person. I'm open to anything, but what has happened must not happen again. And what has happened needs to be fully ascertained. What I mean by that is the damage that has been done, both to classified information, to documents that have to do with the intel of very sensitive material. We do not know how many of those documents have been taken. And it's up to the people in Congress and the Senate to evaluate the situation and find out what sensitive material has been taken. They had 5 hours to go through that place. That's way too much time. And obviously there were special forces that came up in there. Specialized people from the military and otherwise who were in that building. As I said before, what we see on the media and on the television screens is nothing compared to what actually happened. It is a very serious situation which must be dealt with to the extent of the uttermost level of the law. There must be no mercy on any participant as a deterrent for no one to ever do this again. This must never be replicated ever again in the history of the United States. And a message must be sent that is as strong as possible. As strong as your law is, it must be sent. These people have changed their lives forever. Whether it's their fault or not their fault, it's not on us. The action has been done. The line has been crossed. Whether you intentionally or unintentionally kill someone, the line has been crossed. You kill someone. And these people and Donald Trump have shed blood. Blood of people who tried to defend the Capitol and blood of people who were in the insurrection itself. And their blood is on their hands. And Donald Trump should not even be right now. The Secret Service should immediately arrest him. If the cabinet doesn't have the gall, they don't have the strength to produce to make sure that the 25th Amendment is executed, then the Secret Service needs to take over. They are sworn to protect the President of the United States. This guy is not the President of the United States. Someone needs to step up and arrest that man. Because he is not to be allowed. You see how swiftly social media acted. And that should have happened almost instantaneously. This man was not supposed to be able to give messages. He was not supposed to be able to gloat. He should have been immediately arrested. Immediately. I am not overreacting here. When we had a coup in my country, of which the coup leader is still running free, but the government is still trying to tag him down and get rid of him. When the police overran and got these people arrested, they were immediately arrested. They held our parliament to siege. There was an instantaneous curfew. The military took over the country. It was one of the most tragic days. And we remember that date to this day. It was the year 1990. I don't care what allegiance you have, what what political narration you want to have. What happened changed the course of our history forever. It was stained in blood. It wasn't heroic because the whole country was held hostage by these sons of bitches. They are enemies of the state to this day. Different regimes have come to power, but they've always kept them in check, and they're always willing to prosecute them. And they've been trying, every single regime. And they trained in Syria in terrorism. And they still run they're very heavily monitored. These are not friends of the state. They are not your allies. They don't believe in what you believe. And they don't believe the process that you go through. I am being exceedingly serious about this. Every single video you see me put out, I put one video unboxing. But I've been very, very serious about this. I know what it is to experience that. And even as a child, something was very, very wrong. And that could happen to the United States of America if you do not clamp down on this immediately. This is not a joke. This is not something to just dismiss. This is very, very serious. And it sets a very, very serious precedent. This is not just about national security and what happened and why the police force wasn't enacted, even though that also is part of the sedition that happened. It's not only that. Joe Biden is going to be sworn in on January the 20th. And security better be up to notch, because if these people are still running around free, you can bet your ass they're going to try to do something to Joe Biden. I want you to understand the consequences to letting people walk free from these acts of violence. And believe you me, Donald Trump, he said one day he came out with an apology and read a statement, and he's gone back to saying he's not leaving. Let me tell you right now, he must leave. And not he will leave. You need to let him leave in cuffs. Cuff him and get him out of there. It's up to the Secret Service. It's up to all the defenders of the democracy of the United States of America to ensure this man is removed from power immediately. And hopefully the Vice President Mike Pence will be installed into his place. Mike Pence, my friend, you're a target. And the people who support Donald Trump are not your friends. They're looking to kill you for treason, in their case. And Mike Pence right now should be secured in a very safe area, because they're going to go looking for him to kill him. This was a very dangerous political game played by the Republican Party. And it has now reached this point, a point where people's lives are in jeopardy. People's lives are in danger. I've seen heads in Michigan. I saw what happened to the leaders there, and there's no protection for them. The police they need to have more protection. And not only must they have protection, anyone found trying to attack these officials need to be arrested and detained. What will happen is, statewide in the country, there can be these planned cells of people or militia who start to attack the given states. Watch out for that. Now it's turn to flip the script on Donald Trump. Stand down and stand by. Keep observant, vigilant. American citizens, keep vigilant. You have to understand this is not a joke and this is not a drill. There are more American citizens who, right now, at this point, have already drawn a line in the sand and said, this has gone too far. I have a strong believing that more than 80%, if not almost close to 90% of you, have now put a line in the sand and said, this is America. No, you don't do that. That is why so many people have resigned from Donald Trump's cabinet. It has nothing to do. They were willing to ride or die with him, but not that far. That has crossed the line for a lot of them, and they're resigning because of that. And those resignations should tell you everything you need to know about this man does not need to be in power anymore. And every single day you let him stay in power is every single day you enable his supporters to believe that they can do more for him. They are committed to him, and they are not committed to the United States of America. You need to understand this reality right now. You cannot change them right now. Maybe in 10 years' time, you can change some of these people. Many of them, they're lost. It's over. You can't change them. Don't treat them, don't baby them, don't cuddle them. They need to be treated as is to the fullest extent of the law, those who have violated. Those who have not violated, who have spoken on those lines, it is a slightly different story. But to all those who have violated, they need to be arrested immediately. And the treatment needs to be to the fullest extent of the law. That is a no-no. Now, this can set precedent for something that could be very draconian and evil in the future. So we understand that. But sometimes we have to know where the line is drawn. And so in this case, obviously the conspiracy went to much higher levels than this throng of people we saw, who just happened to be most of the people who were tricked into going into the building. Well, they weren't tricked. They knew what was going to go down. All of them had the same mind. They went into the Capitol building. Most of those people, the volume of them, were just a shadow mask for the actual terrorists, the actual specialists in that crowd. We've seen it in many countries, right? We've seen it in Lebanon. We've seen it in many different places where they under the shadow or under the cover of crowds, we actually have the actual terrorists in there, the actual special militia, the special forces. And we captured one on camera. He was all masked and everything, and he had the utensils of terror in his hands. That's how it works. And what is amazing to me is we always used to focus. I remember the Oklahoma City bombings. I remember like yesterday. We always focused outward on demonizing people outside of the United States of America. But how did this terrorism outside the America happen? Yes, people they were always discontented with America, but the measures and steps and training of these individuals came from Americans themselves, who are also disgruntled with America. The terrorism that we see outside of America came from individuals who supported them from inside of America. We've always had homegrown terror. And it would come out in these isolated incidents like the Oklahoma City bomber, like the bomber that exploded himself and did jihad right inside of Tennessee, which nobody's talking about right now, but I will talk about because it's connected to these incidents that are happening. People are becoming emboldened, and this person was not working in isolation. Obviously, they were able to pull it off, and that's just a warning sign of things to come. And so the intelligence community needs to be on their absolute utmost high alert. And the leaders of these intelligence communities who are installed by Donald Trump have a choice to make. You're either going to be accomplices to his evil, or you're going to get the message and start clamping down and making sure the people under you are getting note on what's going on. But if you're not, and if you're playing politics, and if actually your outcome is to weaken the community, then do note, stand down, stand by, people. All people in the intelligence community, you know what to do. You don't need your leaders in this case. You may have no figurehead, but you know what you got to do in the interest of national security. You know what oath you swore to, and you know what you'll have to do. Nobody has to tell you. And I know also that a lot of these people who are under these people who are being politically appointed, they know what to do as well. Once again, this is America. This is not some fucking third world. This is not Germans from Germany. This is America. And so, while the United Soviet Socialist Republic of China, I almost said China, of Russia, while Vladimir Putin has tried to play his game and mess with the minds of the people here with his propaganda, and he's been able to find the willing and able, Donald Trump has been able to find them, source them, pull them together, and having working his machinery. And while they have moles in different places in governance, I can tell you for a fact, it will not just work like that. This is America. And there's just way too much brain power in America to just let that uncoordinated allowance of this to happen. I hope. I may have underestimated the Americans. You see, when you get overconfident, that's when people can take you down. So I hope that the people in power right now who understand this message from a citizen of the world, I hope they take note. This is a very serious time. And it is very, very sensitive. And as much as I appreciate the incoming president to be Joe Biden, I am definitely not sharing his values at this point in time. I do not share it, and I will not right now be silent on this issue. I've been speaking about it for a couple of days, and I will continue to speak about it for a couple of days. I'm going to say it again with uncertain terms. And I'm going to say with as much intent and strength and purpose. That man, Donald Trump, needs to be out of office now, not tomorrow, not next week, now. Get him immediately into a trial, convict him, and put him in federal prison for treason immediately, inciting an act of violence against what we already know is Mike Pence. The intent was to kill him, or he conform and do what that mob said. That is the absolute intent. I can tell you that. I have never seen this in my lifetime. I've heard about it. I've read about these things, but I've never seen it in my lifetime. And this is what is extremely, 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 just because it failed doesn't mean that it ain't more coming. There's more coming. So if these people are so stupid not to understand what is going on and they drag their feet on this issue, oh, there's more coming. And worse. That was a trial run. So if you think this is all just talk and, oh, yeah, fuck out of here. They're just getting started. So if the people who in power do not realize what is going on and the intent and purpose, you need to put the most severe punitive action you've ever put on this incident. This is not about white or black or class. This is an attack on the United States of America. It is an act of war against the United States of America, directed by the president of the Russia, Vladimir Putin. The tool used is Donald Trump and extremist white ring organizations. That is what was down in the Capitol. It was masked by crowds of people. I want you to understand very explicitly what I am saying. For the Republicans in the Senate and in Congress, you need to understand this. You need to come together unilaterally and strike this down with the utmost prejudice. I can't say it any clearer right now. Don't let some people think it's humorous what happened because it looks somewhat humorous, and some of the people look a little goofy, but it wasn't humorous. And it's not just about the Capitol Police failings. We understand they never had the National Guard. We understand the leader of the Capitol Police said he didn't need assistance so that they could strike down as much protection as possible. We understand that there was some what we call sedition going on inside of the police force. We already know that. We already know that there was sedition going on around. But then again, the elected leaders were what? Right? In the Pentagon, in the defense areas. The elected leaders were Trump appointees. So what do you expect? Some of them had allegiance to him. But the fact that this actually happened is what I am talking about now. And what action needs to be taken now. Obviously, they will have a full forensic investigation into what happened, but there can be a repeat performance, not only for the inauguration of Joe Biden, but even before that. So I want you to understand how serious this is. This is not some kind of, I don't care who you are. This is not some kind of, oh yeah, okay, it was just people, man. It was just ordinary people. Don't let me curse. It was not that. And the people all knew what they were going to do. That gathering, everyone knew in that crowd what they were going to do next. They came down for that purpose. This ain't no Dixieland. Oh, we just Dixieland people, man. We're from the South. Man, it's about time the Southerners, they get a voice. That's not the bullshit that was going on down there. No. It was an orchestrated attempt at overthrowing the United States government at the highest level. They attempted to do the same in Michigan, and those people have been captured and they are being tried. So I want you to understand that what they could have done in Michigan, they have done in the capital, the seat of power of the United States of America. And I, right now, am single-minded in terms of my message. I will not stop speaking about it. You will never forget it. It is something you will remember for the rest of your lives worldwide. It is something to never forget. Are we going to wait until we have a Holocaust? When when this madman is having people in front of firing squads and being injected with chemicals where they die, and then they fill up all those FEMA coffins. Oh, I haven't forgotten the FEMA coffins. I haven't forgotten all those coffins that are still out there. Coffins where people who have the pandemic, I guess it filled those coffins. They've been killing us. We've been killed on a regular basis. And the leaders don't give a fuck about us, man. Donald Trump don't care about you. He literally epitomizes nepotism, the greed of the wealthy. He literally epitomizes what the elite class, he's just not that smart. But the elite, he gives you the unedited, unfiltered feeling of what the elites feel. I'm not saying all the elites are like that. There are people who actually care about people. I've seen them both on the Democratic side and the Republican side in terms of politicians who are not, they are people of character. But what I'm saying is there are a lot of elites who you think love you and they don't care about you. You're a tool. Look, they haven't even passed, and this is Donald Trump. Donald Trump wanted this too. They wouldn't pass the direct payments for citizens in the hallowed Congress. And I warned people, don't follow Donald Trump, because guess what? He gonna send you down somewhere where he's not going. He didn't go down to the Capitol building. He's not gonna put his life at risk and in danger. He sent you there because he's not a military person. That woman who lost her life down in the Capitol building, she believed. Now, do understand, Donald Trump is sharing sentiments of what these people believe. He validates their conspiracy theories. But I can guarantee the people who went down the Capitol building who enacted what he said, a lot of those people are extreme right-wing groups. They do not represent most or a lot of the people who are not or who have voted for Trump. Okay? They do not represent a lot of people who did not vote for Trump. And while they may have reflected some of the sentiments, some of these people think, well, something shady happened in the elections. That might be so. But most of them who say that wouldn't act on it. And further, Donald Trump has said certain things which people like. Oh man, tough guy. When he said, the cops, man, just beat those motherfuckers, okay? The criminals. He just killed somebody, beat them up, right? They like that. People like to hear that sometimes. I get it. So you have people align with that, the tough guy kind of thing, even though Donald Trump is anything but a tough guy. But he said something that tapped into what people sometimes feel. Police officers sometimes see the worst scum of the earth. They really do. And sometimes they really just want to rip that guy. And so they chuckle a little bit because that's what they feel inside. Doesn't mean they're going to do it. I want you to understand people are not inherently evil. So when I speak very strongly about what happened down in the Capitol, I understand how people are and how the humanity is. But I can guarantee what I'm saying right now has to do with people who were cover and knew what they were doing. When you see people putting up a noose while a rally's going on, come on now. Ain't no way. I don't care. You look at it symbolically or you look at it literally. Ain't no way they have good intentions. None. Then you see specialized people moving in there with complete military fatigue, and they got those um those plastic cords to arrest to sorry, not arrest, to hold hostage people by tying them up. That shit don't look too good. The media captured that, but there's much more. Because when you have special forces moving in there, just so people understand, you're not going to see the special forces. They're not even going to appear on TV. They're not going to allow you to see them in the camera. And there were special forces in there. Some of the militia that went in there, and there were militia that went in there, and there were armed people going in there, which the television's been very careful to keep away from the cameras. Or they just been good at avoiding the cameras, one of the two. There were people armed that went in there. And I believe this was reported for the media so people would know, but I'm sure there's other things that went on which were even worse than that. And I'm not trying to trump up things, I'm just saying. Because it could be that what was reported in the media was just what wasn't reported in the media. But what is somebody going down there with homemade cocktails for bombs, homemade bombs? Why would you go down there with homemade bombs? Why would you go down there with so many different guns if your intention is not to use them? My point anyway is this. Immediate action needs to be taken, not some soft, just let it play out kind of thing. No. Deliberate moves need to be taken and taken now. I was a guy that tried to defend Donald Trump on different things. I tried to keep it unbiased. I tried not to speak about the wickedness and the evil he was doing in the world. I tried to focus on some of the positive things he did. But that line is crossed now. And there's nothing positive about this. And nothing he says or does is going to ever reverse this. This is who he is. He's a totalitarian, he's a strong man, and he's got to go. America has taken out strong men in many different parts of the world. If the Republican Party wants to in any way align themselves with this strong man, whoever is doing that has now been put on America's most wanted list. The people who have resigned from Donald Trump's cabinet have done so because they don't want to be aligned with that. That explicit expression that he did and what he said after, that they're special and that they love them, it's over. It's over. It's over. It's over. It's over. And that's why you've seen those resignations. That last action was too real for some people, and they can't defend it. And they have left his cabinet. And I believe these people who had the ultimatum, let's invoke the 25th Amendment, the other people said no, and they said, well, I'm out of here. And they left. And I'm going to say this. I applaud them on that. There's only so far you can play a political game. There's only so far you can back somebody and be loyal. But when they are hurting lives, when they're taking lives, when they're killing people, when their intent that they're followed through with is literally to kill, maim, and destroy people who do not fit their agenda, they must be removed from office. That is not what that's not what democracy is. That is not a representation of what America is. And so, no matter what anybody tells me, I am not going to deviate from what I said. The strongest possible measures that can be taken against this former president of the United States, he's no longer president in my eyes, because he has tarnished the office forever. Forever. He's not president. I don't know what he is. But they need to make it a reality. Put Mike Pence as president of the United States, inevitably Mike Pence is going to be president of the United States, because whether you impeach him or whether the 25th Amendment is invoked, Mike Pence will be president of the United States for the next couple of days. Now, he will be a target, and he's worried about that. Don't you worry about that, Mike Pence. They'll protect you. They'll take care of you. They'll take care of you. Because you've got the entire of the United States of America, except for the few reprobates out there, the extreme right-wingers. They're the extreme right-wingers, and maybe some extreme left-wingers. We could throw Antifa in there. I don't have a problem. They're all despicable. They're all despicable. Donald Trump attracted all the despicable people. So no matter how you look at it, Fox News, he was a magnet for despicable people. So I don't give a damn what you say. Because all of them need to go. So whether it's Antifa or whether it's the extreme white ringers, they need to go. So I don't have a problem with it. He was able to bring the lowest of the low of America together. He was able to bring the guttural hate and stupidity of people together with his lies. So I don't have a problem eliminating all of them, because that's not what America is about. But they all got to go. And ID them and get them out of here. How much you need? Peace.